Sometimes the delay in your breakthrough isn't because God rejected it, but because your own words keep affirming the struggle. You cry out for doors to open, yet your speech constantly paints them as closed. Before God shifts what's in your hands, He first examines what pours from your lips. True breakthrough doesn't start the moment funds arrive, but begins the instant fear stops dominating your conversation. You don't need hype. You need unwavering truth that holds strong even while bills still pile up. Faith isn't pretending the problem doesn't exist. It's insisting the problem will not write the final chapter. Look at the widow in the scriptures. She was in utter collapse, debt pressing down and creditors at her door. When asked what she possessed, she first replied, "I have nothing," but then she caught herself and added, "except a small jar of oil." That word "except" became the seed where the miracle multiplied. She didn't ignore her financial crushing, but she refused to let nothing be her ultimate declaration. The doorway to your breakthrough exists in your "except." I have no resources except I know God still reigns. I have no leverage except a little time and a heart ready to believe. The oil began to flow the moment she focused on what remained, rather than what had vanished. To transform your finances, your words must transform first. Here are 5 declarations to speak before your breakthrough begins moving. First, declare, "I refuse to make my circumstance my source." Many confuse the channel for the source. Your work, your business, your income, they are all channels. God is the source. When you treat your channel as the source, anxiety becomes constant. Every economic shift, every client loss shakes your foundation because the house was built on something temporary. Channels can dry up, but the source is a well that never empties. Announcing God as your source means even if a door closes, the one who owns the building is still your Father. When your situation becomes the source, fear becomes ruler. When God is your source, peace becomes your companion. If you believe that, speak, "God is my source." Let that be your first affirmation. Second, speak, "I am not empty." God still has something to multiply. Recognize that lack is temporary. What remains, though small, carries the power to expand. Faith doesn't deny the reality of debt, loss, or limitation. It refuses to let them be final. Like the widow, your breakthrough begins the moment you acknowledge what exists rather than what is gone. Speak over your hands, your time, your talents, your finances. Let your vocabulary align with possibility, not despair. The oil multiplied because she accepted what was left, not because she ignored the pressure around her. Similarly, your breakthrough will flow when your words declare provision instead of emptiness. Start speaking abundance in the midst of scarcity. Confess hope while bills stack high. Declare life when circumstances seem dead. Your voice is the channel for God's multiplication. Every time you refuse to call lack your source, you invite overflow. Your words are the spark that releases the miracle hidden in your accept. Refuse to make fear the narrator of your life. Stop describing your situation as hopeless. Open your mouth with declarations that align with God's power to multiply, even the smallest remaining portion. When your lips stop affirming lack, heaven begins to intervene. This is where breakthrough truly begins, not when circumstances shift first, but when your speech shifts first. Hold fast to that truth while everything around you seems to say otherwise. Your breakthrough is waiting for your words to catch up with faith. The cruelest deception of financial pressure is convincing you that you are empty. It whispers that your value has vanished, that you possess nothing useful to rebuild with. Yet God never abandons you with zero. Consider the remnants you still hold. Perhaps it's a relationship, a latent skill, or simply the gift of breath filling your lungs. Stop lamenting what creditors have taken. Begin cataloging what remains. Don't allow loss to overshadow what God has left. The remnant is the fertile soil where resurrection begins. Third, declare, "My lack is temporary, not my identity." This is where countless people remain stuck for years. They drift from saying, "I'm experiencing hardship," to believing, "I am a perpetually broke person." There is a vast difference between location and identity. You might be situated in a season of scarcity, but it does not define who you are. Stop repeating, "I'm one of those people who never have enough." That is a curse masquerading as a confession. Instead, remind yourself, "I am passing through a challenging season, but I am a child of the provider. I am being guided, not abandoned." A hard season does not have to become a lifetime prophecy. You are only passing through. Do not construct a dwelling in the valley. Fourth, commit to obeying small instructions before demanding monumental miracles. Everyone wants the oil to overflow, yet few are willing to carry empty jars from door to door. The widow in the story labored. She sweated. She performed the practical, uncomfortable tasks that prepared the way for the miracle. What small step have you ignored? Perhaps it's making that uneasy phone call to resolve a debt, or finally sitting down to review the bank statements you've been avoiding. Breakthrough is a partnership. God provides the increase, but you must supply the obedience. Many request dramatic miracles while sidestepping the modest practical steps God already placed before them. Fifth, and crucially, prepare capacity before expecting overflow. The oil continued as long as vessels were available to catch it. The instant there were no jars left, the flow stopped. God will not pour tomorrow's abundance into yesterday's limited capacity. Your readiness determines the magnitude of what can be received. Build the container before expecting the flood. Speak faith over your hands, your time, your heart, and your resources. Allow your words to position you for multiplication. Your obedience, however small, activates the release of what God has prepared. Remember, the remnant holds the seed of the miracle. Your temporary lack does not define you. Small steps, faithful obedience, and prepared capacity unlock the supernatural increase. Speak truth over your season. Refuse to let circumstance dictate your story. Declare life where scarcity seems dominant. Your breakthrough does not begin with overflowing jars. It starts when you embrace the remnants. Act in obedience, and ready your vessels for what is coming. If you haven't mastered handling $100, why would anyone entrust you with $10,000? Preparing capacity begins with refining your integrity. It requires becoming someone dependable, capable of managing more. If you desire abundance, start gathering more jars. Build the character able to carry and maintain the blessing. The oil waits for the vessel. Stop asking for more supply and begin expanding your capacity. Let me be clear, because your soul matters more than temporary comfort. Declarations alone do not replace discipline. Confessions cannot substitute management. Saying God is my source while spending money you don't have to impress people you barely know is not faith, it is fear cloaked in religious words. God is not judging your missteps. He is inviting you to maturity. He does not merely want to deliver wealth. He wants to cultivate character in you that can receive, keep, and multiply what He provides. Perhaps you are in a widow-like moment right now. The path ahead seems uncertain. You don't know how next month will unfold. You hold only a small jar of oil, a bit of hope, a fragment of strength, or a single idea. In your hands it feels insufficient. In God's hands, that very not enough is the precise measure needed for multiplication. Do not despise your little jar. Align your heart with God's truth. Speak it aloud or let it settle deep into your spirit. God is my source, not my situation. I am not empty. I have something for God to multiply. This season of lack does not define me. I will obey the small instructions today. I am preparing my capacity for the overflow. Lord, I pray for everyone listening who feels the walls closing in. Open their eyes to the remnants, to the small jar of oil they have been overlooking. Grant them courage to silence the fear in their words and wisdom to prepare the jars for what is coming. Transform not only their bank accounts but also their hearts. If you are starting the work of preparation today, if you are gathering your jars, declare, I am building capacity. The oil has not run out. It is merely waiting for a vessel. Begin pouring now.